This is Ron Muschette from IRIE FM Jamaica. Say live and you know what live and direct means? It means liveanddirect.fr. Eat your food, man.
I hope God bless them in the morning, you know. Well, Ron Muschette keep waking them up, you know, with positive music. And we wake up the people, you know. Yeah, Ron Muschette keep playing these songs of melodies, like Bob Marley would have said, them a go tired fi see your face. Wake them up in the morning, play reggae music so sweet. When I say you play, when you play, they say.
Oh, actually, it was after high school, and I was living in Mobay with my grandma, and I really wanted a job, so one of my in-laws told me that if I went by Sandals, I could probably get a job somewhere in the entertainment.
Why the entertainment? Was it a choice at first, or?
Basically because that's all that I knew then. You know, I just knew about entertainment and just knew how to be on the microphone, and wherever I could get a job that entails me talking or doing my stuff, then yeah, I would love that job. So that's how I ended up being at Sandals.
So did you have the skill to build up yourself a home radio station for Sandals?
Well,
do you have a technical training in that field? Or?
Not really. I just had a dream, and so I went to with one of my friends, Bones, who works here. I think he just drove in. He's over there somewhere. We can bring him in. Bones and we were playing around in the disco one day, you know, pretending as if we were working at a radio station and we were in the disco. And somebody heard and went to the boss. So we were supposed to be fired. But when we got to the boss, Mr. Horace Peterkin, he said, it's a brilliant idea to put a radio station here. I'm not going to fire you boys. You know, get somebody who you know who can set the radio station up. I'm going to talk to the boss, Mr. Butch Stewart, and we're going to build a radio station right here. So the rest is history. I went and called a friend, Arnold Kelly, who used to work at a radio station in Mobay at the time, and we just bought some very easy to go equipment, and we put them together, and next thing you know, we were on the radio. But we covered like a small area. Yeah, we're at the radio station, so cars coming in, entertainers with their big music. But anyway, so when the station got a little popular at Sandals now, then the biggest station heard, and then came and gave me a job. But it was this man.
Hey, what I do?
And I.
Hey, how you doing?
Have a seat.
Hi, how you doing?
So you just want to help me answer one question. This is Bones.
How you doing?
He looks a lot different than he did 20 years ago. When
That's so long? No, got it so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we started the radio station at Sandals, we were just in entertainment. We just used to play around.
And have fun.
And so we tell him a story. We were in the disco.
I don't know that story. It's so long ago. But I remember I was playing around in the disco, and they said they were gonna start a radio station. He pulled me into it. You know, I wanted to go to do big things. This was the biggest thing to do, right? But it was fun. It ended up as a joke and turned out into serious careers. And other stations heard us, and we just
grew from there. Tell me about the day when we were in the disco, and then somebody come by Charles.
Yes.
And they took us to the boss. So
yes, and we brought the idea up, and
no man, tell them when we get to the boss, because we went in the office to be fired. Remember?
Oh, well, we're not supposed to be in there. That was it. We weren't supposed to be in that disco, and we were in there, and Shelly the chat man, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Shelly called me out, man, and we had to go to the boss. So we said, we do know we don't have no work.
Yeah, man, we're gonna be fired.
We're gonna be fired. And when you heard what we were doing, I don't know what happened. It's such a long time ago. It ended up being that we got praises instead of being fired.
He was like, it's a brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea. And then, you know, he said, let's jump on it right away and get the funding and put up a transmitter, and it happened. Called it SMB.
So we wanted to find a name for the station, so our friend Joseph, we spoke to Joseph, and we said, Joseph, we need a name. And Joseph said, WSMB. W means nothing, but SMB is for Sandals Montego Bay. So we just put W on it to make it sound good. WSMB 88.3.
But it leaked. That's the problem. The signal leaked. It's supposed to be in the station.
It was supposed to be a small radio station on the compound of the hotel. But then the signal leaked over in town.
And they heard us.
And the other radio station in town was getting a competition. So they said, you know what? Let's go for those boys.
Let's go for them.
So we ended up there.
Yeah, and then we ended up here.
IRIE FM #1. Look all.
That was in 1999.
Yeah.
I had left the radio station in Mobay and gone back to the countryside of Jamaica. I didn't have a job. And then I started working for my old radio station again. And they just called me. Called me here and then, yeah. Just the same thing like I said from the beginning. You got to do the work and the spin-offs will come. So IRIE FM took me from Mobay and brought me to Ocho. And I've been here ever since.
So you're here too? They called me too?
Yeah, from Mobay. We both came from...
Same
We've been on the same journey, from Sandals to the radio station in Mobay.
To here.
Big up IRIE FM, big up Ron Muschette. You don't know Ron Muschette on the boss.
Alright. Well, originally I'm a born pilot, you see. Ever since I was growing, my dream was to be a pilot. Maybe a commercial airline pilot. Radio, I still, if I were to credit anybody with me loving radio, it would have to be my brother. I used to live with my brother and he just used to play radio all through the day, all through the night. And one day he took me to a show with David Rodigan and Barry G. And I just liked what I saw. So in my earlier days, I would try to be, like a younger version of a Barry G. That didn't work. There were a lot of criticisms and even Barry G himself wanted to fight me. So I said, all right, okay. Keep it. I'm gonna find my style, my Ron Muschette style. So
you work your style.
So I worked my way up and I decided when I come back, I want to test Barry G and I want to put him in the back and I want to come to the front. Because if he was nice to me, I wouldn't, I would have probably just embraced him like I'm doing my Virgin Bones here right now. But he wanted to challenge me, So I said, okay, let's go. So
he played rough.
Yeah, he played rough, so that is why I had to, I'm sorry, man. I had to put his career on pause.
You mean stop?
Yeah, I take credit for taking him off the map. He tried to take me off, come on. He bombed my ship, I swam to shore. And then I got me a 9mm and then I got me an RPG and I took him out, I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Sheriff John Brown always hated me. For what? I don't know. And every time I plant a seed, he said, kill it before it grows.
Kill it before it grows, yes.
So I had to,
Ron Muschette just play me song. We no worry.
Well, not necessarily. It all depends on your popularity too as well. Because if you're not really a popular person or very important to your radio station, and you say something that they don't like, it will be easy to kick you off, so it all goes on your status. But I don't think you're free to say whatever you want. But when I'm on the radio, I try to be as open as possible and voice a lot of my opinions, but I try not to go overboard because you can get in trouble. You stay, So I try to be obedient, be a good boy, Don't try to,
Muschette play the music so nice. Play the music.
Well, I've basically been doing Reggae Sumfest from the first year. I just took myself off. I don't like the people that put on Reggae Sumfest. I took myself off that show like
3-4 years?
Yeah, about 3-4 years ago. I just don't want to do it no more. But I've been doing it since 1993 when it just started.
The first one, yeah.
I've done it like every year until I came to IRIE in 99, 2000. I've done jazz and blues back in the days when it was Air Jamaica Jazz and Blues. I've done quite a lot of them. My best memory. You want my best memory or my worst memory?
Yeah.
I'll deal with the worst one first.
Okay.
The worst one I remember was being at Sting, the year when Ninja Man and Cartel had the big fight. I was up on the stage when the bottles were coming. That's my worst memory of being at a stage show ever. My best memory, well, I was working with Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. At one time I went a lot of places with Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers, and I loved that. That was the highlight of my life as being the host of shows. And I went on a tour with James Ingram one time, the American R&B singer James Ingram, and I grew up loving James Ingram songs, so I got a chance to go on tour with James Ingram one time, and that was a good thing. Yeah, and then he came to Jamaica. We did like 3 shows in Jamaica, and I was, you know, the host for all 3 shows. So. Well, reggae music now. Well, there's a new generation of reggae stars coming, and the people that control reggae music in Jamaica, and even some of the elders, Jamaica, things are happening better in Jamaica now. There are different coalitions, like the Jamaica Association of Artists and Vintage Artists, and there's different groups now. Reggae is more organized in Jamaica than 5 years ago. You know, a lot of the profits that were going overseas, we found a way now to hold these things. In Jamaica now, artists are even getting paid when you play their music on a sound system. So it's getting tighter, it's getting better, and it's growing. Reggae is only gonna go bigger. Reggae is only gonna get better, and like Lucky Dube said, nobody can stop reggae. Nobody can stop reggae. Yeah, so reggae's future is so bright. I need sunglasses. Yes.
So did you meet absolutely every artist in Jamaica?
Oh God, yeah. If I haven't, if I haven't met them yet,
They're on their way here.
Yeah, they're on their way here right now.
Okay.
Yeah. They're probably at the gate.
Yeah.
Waiting for you.
Yeah, yeah. But I met everybody, and I worked with quite a few of them, and we're a reggae family. You know, what I mean, we're on the #1 reggae station. We play reggae. We're responsible for the Jamaican artists. So, hey, we got no enemies, and you know, we just got to do what we got to do. Message for the world. Message for the world is, you know, we don't know when it's gonna end. So in your corner, or in your religion, or your works, or your walks of life, you know what I mean, just do good. Help who you can, and you know, let's try to make this world a better place. They say half of the food in the world goes to waste. You know, the smallest percentage of the world, maybe about 10%, are super millionaires. Other 90 of us struggling to go by. So if we could just get some more equality on earth, and if you can do your part and I do mine, then this is gonna be a better world, like in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, you! Hey, run my shit! One time, Natasha Parsons. So, yo, me come to tell us in these times of war and trouble, and man can't respect woman. We glad to have people like Run My Shit mostly. Yo, Run My Shit, you are my selector, man. Big up yourself and just keep spread out roots and culture to the people. Hey, Natasha says so. Yo, inna this hour, the past or the future. Me top selector, man, me know me have to vote for. The fear upon me a search the answer. And Run My Shit, give me the roots and the culture. Inna the hour, the past or the future. Me top selector, man, me know me a go vote for. The fear upon me a search the answer. And Run My Shit, give me the roots when me wake before I die. And me radio a go on. The case out